Good evening, Kathy Beatty with Divorce Support Anonymous. You can tell it's getting a little dark out here. The lighting's not the best, but I just wanted to take a moment among the beautiful trees, the fresh air, the birds, just to talk about self-care. Because I know that as you're going through this divorce, you are in survival mode. So you are not thinking about intentionally taking care of yourself. I want to encourage you in some small way, whatever you can come up with, that you do take the time for self-care. Now, self-care looks different for every person. For me, it is outside, it's the fresh air, it's the wildlife, birds. I've got some turkeys that visit my backyard, and some deer. That just restores my soul. Walking through the woods, that's me. But that doesn't mean that's you, because every person has a different form of self-care. Maybe it's a hot bubble bath. Maybe it's just hiking or being on the water, canoeing, kayaking. But the reason I want to bring this topic up to you is because I see how rare it is that people take good care of themselves as they're going through the trauma of divorce. It's different than a physical trauma, like a car accident or something, because you have that medical team around you and all those recommendations that you need to stay in bed. We're going to keep you in the hospital for a few days. We're going to run these tests. We're going to make sure you get the good food, all of those things when we have the physical. But when we're having this emotional and spiritual trauma, there's not someone coming alongside of us, unless you work with me, that's saying, hey, what kind of self-care are you doing? We are not functioning on all four cylinders right now anyway. So we truly need that self-care to give us the boost that we need to survive, to think straight, to deal with all that we have to deal with. So I want to encourage you to take self-care seriously. Maybe you haven't in the past, but look at your coping skills of what you are doing right now. How are you getting through the days? How are you coping with all that's going on? And are those coping skills unhealthy? In my book, Suddenly Single, it talks about the healthy coping skills and the unhealthy coping skills. I want you to look at your self-care and how you're coping throughout the day. And even jot them down. Get a sheet of paper. This is how I'm coping. Maybe it's talking to a friend. Maybe it's talking to a therapist. Maybe it is good music, positive music. Maybe it's scripture reading. Maybe it's prayer. Maybe it's belonging to a support group, which I highly recommend and hope that you are. But what are you doing for self-care? A word of caution that you are taking care of yourself as you go through this trauma, that you are using good coping skills as you go through it. Don't underestimate fresh air and long walks. They can be not only physically helpful because they help your mind, your brain release those good positive hormones for us to feel better, but it gets our circulation flowing. And right now, yes, those basics like getting enough water, getting enough sleep, if you can sleep, are really critical. So don't underestimate the importance of self-care right now, and don't think it has to be extravagant. It does not, but it does need to be intentional. So write down how you are coping, the coping skills you're using right now. Are they positive, negative, healthy, unhealthy? And then what are you doing for your self-care? How are you taking care of yourself? I want you to be effective, being able to think clearly, to make good judgment right now. And to do that, it does require that we take those moments. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe it's 10 minutes a day, that we are intentional about, this is my body, I'm going to take care of it. This is my mind, I'm going to guard it. Do that throughout the day, but have that specific intentional time where you are honoring yourself, your body, the trauma that you're going through, and taking care of yourself. Write it out, decide if it's good, add some new that is going to help you to relax, to regain some strength, to be ready for all of the issues and the struggles that lie ahead. Hope that's helpful. Kathy Beatty, Divorce Support Anonymous.